Hey, what's up, everybody? Look, over the last day or so, I've gotten so many messages from some of you asking me whether or not I believe this is a trap or not in the crypto market. As I'm sure you started to notice, the crypto market's actually been in an okay place recently. We started to see Bitcoin recovering to 84,000, social media engagement starting to go up, meaning people are starting to kind of come back into the space a little bit. Retail volume is somewhat increasing, implying that retail investors like you and me are just starting to buy and sell a little bit more. We're starting to notice, obviously, our altcoins price stabilizing. Things like IP and Pi have had some great days. I mean, we're starting to feel like the market's actually not in a terrible spot. Now, as a result of it being in a bit of a better spot, though, people are now asking me, wondering, hey, like, is this a trap? In both directions, right? The bulls are wondering, should I believe this? Every time the market feels good, it starts to crash. Like, do I buy into this? Do I not buy into this? Do I start longing? Do I open leverage long trades? Like, do I get in or do I not get in? Obviously, some bulls are like, oh, this is it, the bottom's in, and they're going nuts, but we don't mind them here on this channel. So some people are wondering whether it's a trap in that direction. And then there's also some bears, or just people who expect or want the price to go down. They're asking me like, hey, like, I have all these short trades open. Like, is this it? Like, is this my warning to get out, right? Like, is this my moment where I need to be getting out? Is the market about to fly? And so there's a lot of uncertainty in the market on whether or not what we're seeing in crypto right now is a bull trap. That's what everyone wants to know. Is the price pumping right now just to build liquidations, to build people's, build people up, make them all excited, make them all, ready and just optimistic that this market's going to start doing good, just for it to come crashing back down and liquidate everybody and get us all out of here? That's what everyone's kind of asking me, long story short. And so I wanted to make this quick video real quick because my wedding, which was supposed to be today, got pushed to tomorrow because of that. So we're just going to have one day, I guess. Anyway, so I wanted to make this quick video for you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a truth, and what I believe to be a very strong truth is going to annoy you. It's going to annoy you. So let me sit here and just warn you. It's going to annoy you. But if you hear me out, I think you'll be in a better spot when you leave this video than when you click the video. Okay. Everyone wants to know whether this is a bull trap. And I do believe that this is a trap. What we're in right now is a trap, but I'm not saying it's a bull trap. I'm under the belief that the market has started to recognize, and you guys know I think it's a manipulated market. So when I talk about the market like an organic being, I'm talking about it because I do believe that it's moved based on manipulations, right? But you guys know that I'm under that belief. So with that in mind, I'm starting to believe that the market recognizes sentiment. So what will happen is in these periods, we'll start to notice the price stabilizing a little bit. Things will kind of get a little bit good. And rather than it being kind of like this predetermined thing, like Bitcoin's going to either go up or go down, and it's going to happen already, and we need to figure out whether it's a bull trap or not. I don't think that's the case. I think what happens is that the market stabilizes to allowing the people who are pulling these little strings, right? And allowing many of your different algorithmic traders and stuff to see the sentiment, to see what happens, right? Okay, if we stabilize the market a little bit, will liquidations get big to the upside or the downside? Will people buy it and actually think that the market's going to go up, or is everyone going to think that that this is just a bull trap and the market's going to go down? Will nobody care at all? Will nobody trade, right? I believe that you can't look at the market again as if it's a predetermined thing. Like Bitcoin's going to do what it's going to do one way or another, and we just need to figure out that in advance, right? Because realistically, I actually believe that the things we do impact, and the things we say and the things we trade or whatever, impact actually that decision. So I think if everyone thinks it's a bull trap, it's probably not going to be. But if everyone doesn't think it's a bull trap, it's probably going to be. And so in my opinion, I think that is a trap. I think the notion of trying to figure out whether something's a trap or not, trying to figure out whether you should go in or go all out, whether you should long or you should short, based on the idea that it is, again, a predetermined motion, is a trap in itself. So my general opinion here is that if you're sitting here trying to determine whether you're going to go long or go short based on what this market's going to do, all you're doing is feeding the fire that's going to fuel a decision that's not made yet. And I hope I'm making sense here. Because maybe if I figure out another way to articulate this a little bit better, I will. But I think you get the point. Then the idea of this is just a little bit flawed, in my opinion. And I think it's going to be the very thing that causes this market to do usually the opposite of what you expect it to happen. Because this is the way that I see it. If this market was predetermined, let's say Bitcoin's price falls a lot and it starts going up, going up, going up. It creates an ascending channel. Everyone would say this is a bull trap because it's an ascending channel, which should break to the downside. And 10 out of the last 12 bull traps were ascending channels. That's a reasonable thing to assume, right? Because it's an ascending channel, probably going to be a bull trap. And so if the market was if the movement of the market was predetermined, therefore in that moment, yeah, it probably is supposed to be a bull trap. But if the market does not work like that, if it works how I think it works, what would happen is that if everyone thought it was a bull trap, liquidations to the downside would start building like crazy as people start to expect that it's going to go up. So they're going to start opening huge leveraged liquidation long trades that'll go upwards. And then the market's going to fall. Because I believe the people who control this market are going to see that as max pain to the downside. Okay, everyone thinks it's going to go up. Now we're going to make it go down. So we can liquidate all those people. And that's how I think the market works. And so the people who were analyzing this to determine whether or not it was a bull trap or not based off of previous moments in history were actually trapping themselves because they're helping fuel the decision that goes against them. And I hope that makes sense. And so my whole opinion about right now is stop trying to figure out whether it's a bull trap or not. Stop doing that. Because the reality of it is there's no way to know. And even if you do figure it out, you're just guessing on what decision the market makers and market manipulators and the centralized exchanges are going to make in terms of what direction this market moves in. Now, if you don't believe the market's manipulated, then this is just all nonsense. This is all just bluff, fluff. It doesn't matter, right? But if you believe this market's manipulated, you have to see that trying to guess whether this is a trap or not, then basing your trades on that idea is setting you up for failure. That's my belief. That's my genuine belief. And so with that in mind, going forward, what I would do is start looking at this from a point of, I'm not going to trade this depending on what I think is going to happen, but more what I'm seeing. So what I would do in a situation like this, and I don't have my computer with me, I left it at home, but what I would do is I would look at this and I would say, okay, at what point do we validate or invalidate that this is a bull trap? So what do I mean by that? So if I'm looking at, let me just give you an example. Bitcoin goes down, it creates an ascending channel. Let's just say it just creates an ascending channel, okay? What I would do is I would look at that and say, instead of it being in that ascending channel and then me looking at it like, is this a bull trap or not? What I would do is I would say, okay, once Bitcoin decisively breaks out of this ascending channel to the upside or the downside, giving me the back test, losing the drop zones, all these things, at that point, then I'm like, okay, it's a bull trap, or okay, it's not a bull trap. And once that decision is made, then I'll enter. Now, obviously, I'm still at risk because there are fake outs and liquidity hunts. I get that. But at the end of the day, I've given myself a bit of a better chance because I'm being reactionary to a decision that's going to be made based on retail investors who are getting trapped. So to simplify that, what I believe you should do, or what I believe people should do in general, is look at this market less from a predictive measure and more of a reactionary measure with a plan. Because I'm not saying react without a plan. Reactions without plans are terrible ideas. But what you can do is say, okay, if Bitcoin does this, I'm going to do this. If Bitcoin does that, I'm going to do that. Now you have a plan, and now you're going to react to this market rather than trying to predict this market, because the reality is no one can predict this market. So stop trying to chase this whole, this dream that you'll be able to predict whether it's a trap or not, because even if you are right, you just guessed right. You guessed right. So that's where we are. So I believe this is a trap, but I don't believe it's a bull trap, a bear trap, or whatever trap. It's a trap of you thinking that you can figure out what it's going to do before it does, because you can't. You can't. So that's my thoughts. I know it's a little bit of an annoying answer, but when I get the chance, I'm going to post something on Twitter, letting you guys know. Yeah, I'll post something on Twitter and then on my community section, letting you know what I'm doing to prepare for this. But I will let you know I did buy a little bit this morning, so stay tuned for that. But overall, I hope you guys are having a fantastic one. And I'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.